Guys, I've watched a lot of animated movies. I often prefer them over other types of art because they have the ability to portray realism while also having abilities that live action movies simply don't. Animated films also tend to get villains down great most of the time, but very few animated villains are as expertly crafted as Lord Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2. Sure, the peacock with flair for pyrotechnics and genocidal ambition looks powerful while pursuing all his evil plans, but beneath the feathers is a deeply broken character. Shen's story is one of fear, obsession, and ultimately self-destruction and self-sabotage, and I often find myself relating to him in ways that hit a little too close to home. It's almost worrisome. His inability to move on from his horrible past and his tendency to self-sabotage mirror struggles many of us face, myself included, more than I would like. So, with that being said, let's break down why Shen is such a powerful character and how his tragic flaws reflect some of our own struggles. From the first time we see him, Shen's life is dictated by fear of fate. When he hears the prophecy that a warrior of black and white will defeat him, he doesn't just fear failure, he fears the loss of control. Shen is a character who needs to dominate every situation and be the most powerful as a way of ensuring everything will go his way, and the idea of a force beyond his control simply terrifies him more than anything. Instead of dealing with that fear in a healthy way, he becomes consumed by it. His response? Commit panda genocide, the thing that ultimately seals his fate more than saves it. But here's the thing about Shen's plan. It's not about just stopping the prophecy as much as it is about his need to prove his control over his own destiny. Shen's actions are a desperate attempt to rewrite the narrative he's been told. He wants to truthfully tell the world, I am the master of my own fate. But in his obsession to control the future, he creates the very conditions for his own downfall. He commits panda genocide in an attempt to stop any future warrior of black and white from stopping him, which ultimately motivates the child of one of the fallen pandas to stop him. He lets go of the goat soothsayer as one last final good deed before continuing his journey, which only allows the soothsayer to motivate Po to go back to stop Shen and grow from his traumatic past. A sharp contrast to Shen. It's the ultimate self-fulfilling prophecy. A core theme of Kung Fu Panda 2 is the way the past defines us, and Shen is the perfect foil to Po in this regard. Po also has a traumatic past, but he learns to accept it and grow past it, finding inner peace and using it as a source of strength. Shen, on the other hand, cannot move on. His past mistakes, the massacre of the pandas, the rejection by his parents, the prophecy he obsesses over, become the very chains that drag him down, trapping him in a cycle of anger and bitterness that ultimately lead to his demise. Shen's need for validation and power is painfully relatable. Deep down, his actions are driven by a desperate desire to prove his worth. After being cast out by his parents, Shen could have sought redemption in a healthy way, but instead he clings to his bitterness and spirals into further darkness. He can't forgive himself, or anyone from his past for that matter, and so with that, he continues to destroy everything around him, projecting his self-loathing onto the world and the people around him. This is where it gets personal. Like Shen, I find myself stuck in the past on a daily basis, replaying old mistakes and letting them define me. Instead of moving on, I often obsess over what I could have done differently and how my actions lost the best things I once had, sabotaging opportunities for growth because I just can't let go. Shen's story is a reminder of how destructive that mindset can really be. But we see what happens when you let it consume you. What makes Shen such a compelling villain is that he's not just defeated by Po, he's defeated by himself. Shen is a brilliant villain. He invents weapons that could have changed the course of warfare, actually based on Chinese history. He commands loyalty and fear from his wolf army, and it'd be ignorant to say he doesn't have a sense of style. But all that potential is wasted because Shen can't get out of his own way. Every step Shen takes towards power also takes him closer to defeat. His paranoia isolates him, His pride blinds him to his own vulnerabilities, and his inability to adapt ultimately ensures his fall. When Po offers him a moment of reflection in their final battle,
"You gotta let go of that stuff from the past, because it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now."
Shen ultimately dismisses it. He can't even entertain the idea of change. He's too far gone. All because doing so would mean confronting his own pain, something he spent his entire life avoiding. This is where Shen resonates the most. It's so easy to fall into patterns of self-sabotage, making choices that feel like control, but actually push you further from what you truly want or need. Shen's story is a cautionary tale. If you let your fears and regrets define you, they'll simply destroy you. I feel there is a lot to learn from this character arc. Lord Shen's tragedy lies in his refusal of growth. He could have been more than his mistakes, but he chose to be consumed by them instead. What makes Po's victory so satisfying isn't that he just beats Shen through brute force, or that he came out on top at the end of the movie. It's that he represents the opposing path from Shen. Po shows us that while the past can shape us, it does not have to trap us or define us. By accepting it, we can find peace and move forward. And look, if you're listening to this worried, just rest assured that relating to Shen does not make you a villain. It makes you a self-aware human being. His story is a stark reminder that we all have power. The power to choose how we respond to pain, to regret, to fear, all these things. We can cling to them and become consumed, like Shen, or we can be like Po and confront them and grow. Choice is ours. So the message I want to give from this video is simply this. If you've ever felt like your past defines you, or that your own actions keep holding you back, take it from Shen. Don't let the fireworks blind you to the bigger picture. The past is part of your story, but it doesn't have to be the ending. It can instead be a new beginning. I'm going to go off script here for a second. I'm just going to say, I definitely plan to make a review of this entire movie one day, as well as the other Kung Fu Panda movies. I just really have a special place for them. In fact, the first Kung Fu Panda movie was actually the first film I ever saw in theaters that I can remember. So this trilogy, actually no, it's got 4 films now. So this filmography of Kung Fu Panda movies is really something special to me. It really means a lot. So whenever I found a villain like Shen who really related to me this much, I knew I just had to make a video about it that not only hopefully helps others, but hopefully will help me in the process. So thank you for watching, and more videos to come. Also, please get me to 500 subscribers. I would really like that, really please. Thank you, guys.